start, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll kind of start and pass it off. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Rita and Ryan Podcast, where we talk. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Rita, and I talk.
We both do sometimes. And yeah, thank you for joining us. So
Thank you.
cheers.
Cheers, and before we start, Ryan, I just wanted to say I watched the last two episodes of us, and I realized the big problem for this is our 8th episode.
Yep, number 8.
Right? Congratulations.
I know.
Technically number 9 because one got lost.
Yes.
So, but 8. This is beginning of our 8th episode, and I've realized what this podcast needs more of is less of me and more of you.
Oh, okay.
So and it really comes down to at the very end of last week's podcast, which I think you uploaded today.
Yes.
It's where you were kind of mean to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So lines were drawn, and I realized, poor Ryan, he's crying out because he wants to talk more, and I overtalk him. I talk over him. So first, and then, so that's the first thing. I will talk last, but let me get this in. Last week, I mentioned a show many, many years ago, before your time, with Rod Sterling, and that show was called The Twilight Zone. Remember The Twilight Zone?
I was wondering if that was what you were thinking of, but I wasn't placing Rod Sterling anywhere. And there's been several versions of The Twilight Zone.
Correct. Too. But the original one that had it was in black and white. It had it just scared me as a little kid watching it when she's screaming because her face is beautiful, but everybody else was really ugly. But when she got her face changed, because she was got in an accident, was disfigured, they did the surgery, and the end of it was her screaming and then seeing this beautiful woman because everybody else looked like an alien.
Yeah.
But her face was so that was the I guess I'm the ombudsman for the show now. Looking back, things I forget what the name of, because that makes me crazy.
Oh, so not forgetting the
right, to say, oh, remember that show, and then give a reference and then not remember the show name. That makes me a little nutty. So now we know.
It's I'm always a fan of just of also say it how you say it. If it's I know what you meant and we're talking about. I understand.
Well, what about our
80
billion trillion fans?
I feel like our viewers are all going to be smart people.
Our viewers get us.
Yeah, I feel like they're all going to be smart.
Speaking of viewers, let's say hello to your mother.
Hello, mother.
And
hello
Chef
to
Jenny Fox.
Chef Jenny Fox,
who technically now she texted me today during the show while she was watching it.
Uh-huh.
And I think now you're her favorite.
Uh-oh.
So I've been knocked off the throne.
Uh-oh.
Don't know if it had to do with, the last 5 minutes of last week's show.
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we need to. I missed the testing. I was gonna join you guys on your meeting, and
yes, and you could have because we were up so late for her because she's 3 hours ahead.
Okay, yeah, I ended up staying later, and then by the time it was like a little later than normal, and by the time I got home, I just went to bed. It's been a
long week.
It's been a long week.
Then one thing that Ryan showed me before the show that everyone needs to see is his sexy man bun. Oh. Ryan's got his hair in a man bun. Come on, Ryan, show the ladies. See how cool? That's super LA.
It is super douchey.
Not douchey. But Ryan
I went into quarantine and got a man bun.
That's right. So, but when I asked him, and ladies, you'll appreciate this, when I said, oh, your hair is in a ponytail, he's like, oh no, it's a man bun. And he said, I, did a bunch of work today, took a nap, and I woke up and I couldn't do anything with my hair, so I just pulled it back. So that's what
It
ladies
is.
say.
It is the advantage of having your hair over a certain length, where you're like, yeah, you know what, it's going up. Or if
what's weird is, why do we call it a man bun? It's just for a bun for a woman. Does it make it more masculine?
I think it just sounds goofy.
Oh, got it.
Like, that's why I said it, is because it sounds goofy and silly. So it might, but that's my thinking. But other people may use the term for for serious means. But I just think it's silly. It's a man bun. Come on, dude, you have a man bun.
I think it's silly too, but I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
You look great. You always
look great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So
you do too. Even
Thank you. I asked you 20 minutes before the show, how's my hair? And you say, this is exactly what he said, folks. You can attest to it. It's like, I wasn't noticing anything.
Yeah.
I said, well, 2 shows ago, did my hair look good? I didn't really look at it. So
if I do notice it, then that means there's something.
There's a problem.
Yeah. Then that means that there's a problem. That's I kind of look and be like, nope, looks good, and then I move on and don't. But if there's something weird, then I might be, then I would notice.
Okay.
But no, you look fabulous as usual.
Always fishing for those compliments.
Cast that line out there.
Cast that line out. So, so I've kind of opened the show. Ryan, you were just talking about something you were about to talk to me about before we started. Then you said, "Oh, let's save it for the show." Is it an appropriate time to talk about it?
Oh, sure. Yeah, no,
What's
it's just kind of my my day. I actually had the day off, so I ran some errands. I bought a record, a vinyl record for music, a couple months ago, and it came in on the 27th, and I've been missing the postman ever since the 27th, and so the pickup hours are only between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m., which is exactly when most people are working, and I'm like, if I were around during 10 a.m. and 5 p.m., then I wouldn't be having to go to the post office to pick this up. Anyway, and so I actually made a trip out to the place 3 times. Today was my 3rd time. I tried to go there. The first night, a couple days ago, I got in, pulled into the wrong post office because there are apparently 2 post offices. Like 2 U.S. post office buildings. Like one of them is normal, and then the other is for packages. And it looks like you're not allowed there. Like it looked like it's for only post office people.
Right.
So I went to the post office one, and then by the time I figured out I wasn't supposed to be in there, it was 5 o'clock, and the other one had closed. And then the other time I went, the next time, a couple days later, I was about 5 minutes from there, 10 minutes from there, about 10 minutes, and then and then there was like an accident, and so I watched the time like slowly creep up, like it went from 9 minutes up to like 15, and then I just
moseyed on home.
Yeah. And
how
so
far away is this post office?
It's like a mile, like less than 2 miles from my apartment.
Which is half hour away in LA time.
Yeah. And I was coming from Hollywood because I work over in Hollywood.
Got it.
And so, but it is a little further out than where I live.
On your way home is a nightmare.
No, yeah.
From work.
It's you don't the 101 is so bad. It seems worse in the evening than in the morning. Like when you're trying to go away from Hollywood, like in LA, like across the valley, it's it doesn't seem to flow as well as it does.
I don't know how people do it, and I know they're used to it.
I've started I'm starting to take surface streets more again, because I'm finding half the time it's faster
Sure.
to, because on some surface streets you can at least drive 50 miles an hour.
Mhm.
I mean, as long as there are no like cops or pedestrians around, you can go pretty quick on some of the side streets. But you're
You gotta know
doing
where you're at. Yeah.
but you're
So
doing
yeah.
30 on the 101 or less.
At least you can move on the side streets. Okay, so your third try was today.
Yes, and it went off.
Eureka.
Yeah, Eureka! I
Yay.
got it, and
Did you listen to it?
oh, yeah. Well, I've listened to the album. Like, I just bought it to
For like
collect.
keepsake?
For keepsake. I buy vinyl records sometimes, and so I'll listen to stuff. I have it digitally also, but I wanted
Uh-huh.
a vinyl record because it's the new newish. It came out a couple months ago. Czarface Doom album. MF Doom, one of my favorite musicians that passed away.
Right.
Not in.
So they just press a limited amount of vinyl now with new
No,
songs?
like a lot of artists, more people buy vinyl than CDs or anything anymore.
Oh, got it. So it's
Like,
either
yeah, it's either
they're not just
digital
digital or they'll buy vinyl.
or they'll get vinyl.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, or at least a lot of like music people, like, because vinyl, it's more fun to have,
Mm-hmm.
because that's one of the things I loved about listening to music when I was a kid, is like albums, like full
Oh yeah.
albums. Not, I mean, I had CDs. I still like the CDs, but part of the fun for me was the album art
Mm-hmm.
and like what kind of cool stuff they were going to put on the inside. Was it going to have the lyrics? Was it not going to have
Right.
the lyrics?
So cool.
Because music was, or at least the art of a lot of music wasn't just the music. It was
Right.
also the whole presentation.
Exactly.
And I imagine, like, I don't know, like there was some cool stuff that came out because you did get to have you were around with
Oh
vinyl
yeah.
a lot.
And I learned when I excuse me, moved out of my parents' house when I was 18, how heavy vinyl was.
Oh yeah.
So right, so
Oh yeah.
because having grabbing 2 or 3 albums at a time to just put on, and I would listen to these just over and over and over, just over. Music was a lifesaver for me in high school. Just to drown
Yep.
myself and dream and listen to different songs and fantasize about being somewhere else. But it
Yeah.
was moving day and all those because I was not going to leave my albums anywhere, my
Nope.
stereo, and it was like, whoa, the heaviest thing I own besides the bed
How many
is
do you think
albums.
you had?
Um, I guess I would say I know I bought my first album. I remember we had a Galaxy Records in town. I bought my first album when I was 12. So say 6 years worth of album buying, probably a couple hundred.
Okay.
So, and
Do
then
you still have any of these?
I still have them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yep. And so I got fancy in collecting. Like we would sit around and talk about the different diamond needles you could get. You wouldn't just put a mediocre needle on the
Oh
records,
yeah.
and then the friends who played it once to tape it and that was it. So, and then they mark it, and then friends that would, little club of us. But I'll tell you though, for people who love vinyl, I've read these stories where, and it's hard for me to see, so I've gone to garage sales, and you see boxes and boxes of somebody's vinyl for 25 cents. You go through to go, oh my gosh, this is like a gold mine, because maybe somebody passed or somebody just,
Right.
who knows, or I saw those Storage Wars show where somebody stops paying their bill and they auction it off.
Oh yeah.
And you see cases and cases of albums, and they're like, these are worthless, these are worthless. I'm like,
No, they're not.
because right, like you said, it's not just the music, it's the memory, it's the illustrations, it's the story, it's that cute little excitement because you really love the band. to
Mm-hmm.
see a little story about somebody in the band, or because I read all of it. I want to know who the producers were. I'd want to know who wrote the
Me too.
songs. And then when you know, that was a big surprise. You open it up. I remember feeling albums that felt extra thick, even though I knew there was one disc in there. I'm going, oh yeah, there's music in here. And then once I forgot the artist. I have to go look back. I think it was heavy metal. It may have been Black Sabbath, but they actually had the music in instead of just the lyrics.
Oh,
So open it up
they
like,
actually had the sheet music?
what? Yeah, like the sheet music. I was
Oh, that's
thinking,
super cool.
what? But that, so it was just like, just a neat surprise. And um, but I used to subscribe to, I thought one of the best magazines, maybe in my 20s and up, was Guitar Magazine.
Okay.
Because Guitar Magazine had some of the best, and I thought most realistic, because there's the pop interviews where, oh, you're a popular band, whether it's heavy metal, rock, classic rock, but some of these musicians will stand the test of time, especially guitar players,
Mm-hmm.
and they may, have a persona of, being the crazy guy in the band and everything, but they really play guitar really super well, and it's an art form. And so it's really interesting to listen to these the guys talk about it, but also the theory behind the music, and then talk. So I thought the Guitar Magazine had great, really great interviews with great guitarists, and a lot of different musicians. But they'd have, and I grew up, in the Bay Area, grew up with a lot of live concerts with Santana, and
Nice.
so really amazing music. And Santana in his day would play, I think, yeah, I was 15. It was my very first concert I ever went to, Santana in Berkeley. And then, but he played all the time here in the Bay Area. Everybody seemed to play all these small venues. And so, and tickets were $3, $4, $5, for the general, way in the back. But we didn't care. We were at the concert. But I'm sorry, one thing.
I like smaller venues.
Yeah, they're very cool. But the Santana's playing for hours, not just like a 90-minute set like it is now. Is that just be outside, just playing. Those concert starts 11 o'clock in the morning, still playing at 6 o'clock at night, taking a couple of breaks here and there. But in the day, they had a huge band. So yeah, so I really love guitar players, and and a lot of guitar players were the leaders of some bands. And because
well, Van Halen,
right?
It wasn't, it was called Van Halen because of Eddie Van Halen. Oh,
Right.
and Alex, but
Right.
not because of David Lee Roth or the other dude that I just
Sammy, right behind
Sammy
me.
Hagar. Sammy
Come
Hagar.
on now, don't
I don't
speak
know.
bad about Sammy. There's my Angus.
That was
Angus
the worst
AC/DC.
time for a name to just leave my brain.
Yeah, right. Well, the thing is, so speaking of music and all the guys behind me who are, I love AC/DC, and I just love it because I think the music is beautifully done, even though it's rock and roll. But I just love music that tells a story, and they're so true to rock and roll music.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're just so true to the whole lore of rock and roll music. Why guys become rock and roll stars? Right?
I wanted to be I wanted to be a rock star.
Well, you should have written "Shook Me All Night Long" and sang that.
Maybe.
Right. But yeah, there's a how do we get on this subject? Oh, we were talking about your song. So your vinyl, but yeah. I think I just don't know. It's sad to me that vinyl's in our garage sales.
Right. Where is your vinyl set up? Is your vinyl? You have a vinyl set up since you still have all those. Like, I'm assuming you do have a.
It's big. It looks like the setup looks like a big bookcase. I should probably put it behind me.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Maybe you should move your
posters or put it in front of the posters.
Maybe you should move your setting in front of your vinyl station. That might be.
See all these old,
Yeah, that, and then maybe every like pull a couple out to put on display behind you and shift them out every once in a while.
Yes.
In the background or.
I know people are like, that old lady does not look like she has 2 Judas Priest albums.
The
They will old lady shame me with my rock and roll.
Yeah, maybe
Heavy metal.
especially after you get your new camera or newer camera all like going and everything. Maybe
Ryan, that's supposed to be the professional.
That's very professional.
Side of me. Oh, to say, hey, let me talk to you about your small business and some tips how you can recover and redesign. By the way, would you like to look at my albums?
It can look cool.
How do I love AC/DC? Let me count the ways. How can I tell you how
put some Barry Manilow, put some Barry Manilow behind you, you know, maybe some Frank Sinatra, put one of those albums.
I do have Barry Manilow albums. I'm not ashamed of it.
Oh no, I wasn't joking when I said
okay.
Like I wasn't. I was being funny, but I wasn't kidding.
I have one Frank Sinatra. I don't have an album. Just one Frank Sinatra.
Like a compilation.
No, I have one song that I bought for 99 cents on Apple. I just think the "Luck Be a Lady Tonight's" a cool song.
Yeah, I actually don't know a lot about it.
Yeah, and way before our time, but yeah, he made a huge change in the United States. And my grandmother swooned over him, and my mom kind of rolled her eyes. So that's how.
Okay, so he was long
time ago.
But
the big famous song that everybody likes to play at weddings is "Just the Way You Look Tonight." I think that's the name of the song.
Something like that.
I can't sing it because then we'll get canceled, right? Or we'll get a strike on the video if I say the words.
Oh yeah, if it's too close, and the Google AI catches it,
they'll come and take my Sammy Hagar. But I will say, and my last thing about Sammy Hagar, he was great before he joined Van Halen, great during Van Halen, and amazing after Van Halen. So FYI.
I'm not hating. No,
not dissing my Sammy.
The
So you went to the post office and picked up your vinyl of a song, a record you've already had, but that was the story.
Right. Yeah. It took way too long to get it.
Because you live in Los Angeles.
Right. And
let that be a lesson. If anyone wants to move to California, come to Northern California. Much faster.
Someplace quieter. Someplace quieter is looking better and better each day. Like today it was like
normal
15 minutes. I don't think it was 15 minutes, but
and let me just say,
took a while. And
because there's too many people in a very dense place. My town,
so many people, ridiculous
amount. It's like, so my post office is about 1.5 miles. So if you GPS it, it's 5.2 minutes away. And that's going 25 miles the whole way. And that's going through town. It definitely, if you were in San Francisco, it might be a little bit different because my town is very big. Well, it's a small town, but it's not dense. There's a lot of room here, and there's not 8,000 people who live within a 1 mile radius. But yes, I will tell you, I could not do it. I've had to, and I will again. I'll be in Los Angeles again in my lifetime, multiple times, I'm sure. But what I have to steel myself for the traffic, because you can't.
I got used to I got too used to the lockdown traffic. Like it was so great. Yeah. It was the one thing about lockdown was the traffic. Oh my goodness. It was delightful almost at times to drive around LA. And now it's a nightmare again. And I didn't. And so now that it's back, I'm like, oh my, I didn't realize, like, I feel like I start in my days like furious,
right?
For some, and I'm not mad. It's just this traffic puts you in a mood.
And we have pretty heavy traffic, but it's nothing. What I would say a normal trip, say 25 miles during our heavy traffic, which could usually take you 30 minutes, might take you 45 or 50. You've added 20 minutes. I swear to God, I think I've told the story before. Had to do a GPS to going to 2 meetings, and it was 19 miles. So here I'd say, okay, 30 minutes, 2.5 hours in LA, going from like Downey to Rio Linda or vice versa.
Okay,
And
yeah.
it's so you see 19, and you look and at first you think your phone's making a joke, going, rerouting 1,200 times because they're like, lady, there's only one way to go,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's going in that direction, but it's out of control because once you veer onto the freeway, you're not getting off,
Good
and
luck.
it's and so it's just and then you're not supposed to use your phone. So I'm clicking on the wireless, trying, it's in the rental car, trying to talk to the person I was to meet with to say, there's no way in the world I could have ever imagined it would take nearly 3 hours to go 20 miles. We're like, if you leave
Yeah,
after
it's
2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's like, well,
right.
not going to be there by 3. And now I don't want to talk to anybody. So rescheduled, but the other thing I thought, I'll do everything early. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I leave at 6 o'clock in the morning, if I leave at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's just that everyone, I'm thinking, is this the traffic from last night? Because
Yeah.
anyway,
I mean, I'm usually gone. Like I leave around like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's already
sure.
backed up.
But that's so funny. I talk to friends because I have a lot of friends who live in SoCal, and they'll say, like, I was on the city one, I was on the 91. They're like, oh God, don't tell me. Or I was on the 425. I think it was 425 or
405,
210.
405, 210.
Oh God, I never gone that. I mean, everyone, it's like every number is the worst number. Now I'm going to start making it up.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on the 62.
They're all, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Everyone's going to go like, that's the worst one ever. I haven't even heard of it. It's so bad.
Yeah. Man,
it's bad.
It is crazy. There are so many people here. Yeah.
And it's just, if you just, everybody get in the helicopter and go overhead to say, when they tell you the population of this, valley, because that's all it is, right? You're surrounded by all these mountains.
Oh, we're in the LA is a desert. Like it's a desert.
It's a desert. Yeah, don't remind me because you get in our water. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. It blows my mind that like Los Angeles is the desert.
And they built. And they built hundreds of trillions of people there. So
everybody,
I know.
We're all crazy.
Right. So, but let's just it had to be first. It was a farm country. Then it turned to Los Angeles or Hollywood, right, where all the movies are made. And then there you go. Yeah. And probably was inexpensive at the time. And then they realized, oh, we're in the desert. We, we got the Hoover Dam, and then that's not enough to do all these hundreds of millions of people. But that's for another day.
Yep.
The entire country of California is beautiful. I have a preference towards Northern California because
I'm mad at it. I'm mad at it.
I ain't mad. I just don't understand. So, Ryan, do you have a topic?
The only thing I was thinking to talk about, I covered.
Well, I have an issue, and maybe this is funny and maybe it's not, but I have I guess it's a daytime mouse who has been coming in from the backyard to the garage.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were being like metaphorical.
No, it's a real mouse.
Okay.
No, it's a real mouse. So I noticed there's this. I have about 10 banker boxes full of stuff that I should have thrown away because there's certain things you just don't need to save anymore. But I think one day, like the Price is Right, one day someone's going to say, tax return from 2006, and so I know it's there. Well, they're all in just these cardboard banker boxes, and I noticed a couple weeks ago one of the corners had a hole in it. And looked a little mousy mouse. So I thought, well, that's not good. But I didn't hear anything, and I didn't see any poop or anything. So I thought maybe they just came in, got a few shavings, and took off. So 2 days ago, I think, Thursday, I go out into the garage, and the way the garage is set up, there's a door into the backyard, right into the backyard. So you exit into the garage, there's a door really just out to the, about 5 feet away, there's a door that goes into the backyard. So that door is always open to get air into the garage because we've had a heat wave here in Northern California, and I have the only house that has every exposure. So it's not just the sun on one side and the other. So the garage can get like a sauna hot. So usually I crack the big garage door a little bit and keep the back door open so there's a breeze.
Do you live on a hill, like on a big hill?
No.
Oh, okay. Just
Yeah.
very flat and open.
Flat and open, and the sun. So get all the sun on one side in the backyard in the morning, and then on the front in the afternoon. So in both sides, the garage is on in the front and the back. So anyway, so 2 days ago, I go out into the garage, and here comes this fat mouse walking right in the door. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning. And I just look at him, and that's exactly what he did. He didn't, in my head, I was talking, and he just looked up. Because usually mouses don't, or do we say meese?
Mice?
I guess
a mouse?
A mouse. Usually a mice, nope, that's all right. Usually a mouse will go, I just saw something. And number one, it's the daytime. They're supposed to be nocturnal. Yeah. I just saw something move, and I'm going to run and scurry. They're scurriers. So usually you don't see them during the day. And if it's during the day, it's because they were in a dark box somewhere and they went to venture out and they saw you and they got nervous. So I just looked very quizzically at the mouse and said, you shouldn't come in the garage, but I don't want to shoo you away because you're just being so kind of like aloof. So he starts walking towards into the garage, like whatever. And I said, listen, seriously. So you walk in because the washer and dryer right at the door. I'd have to do a diagram, but now he's walking like a foot into the garage so you can see him on the other side of the dryer. Now he's at the tip of the dryer where he's entering the garage, passing the dryer. I'm like, I do not want to broom you out and leave my boxes alone. Then he starts walking towards me. And I'm like, oh no, that's enough. Because I don't really want him to come in the house because there's better stuff in the house than the garage, and I don't want him to know.
Hell no.
Right?
You don't want mice in the house.
Yeah, I don't want mice in the house, and don't know if it's a boy or girl.
Especially fat, lazy mouse.
And fat, lazy could be pregnant mouse.
We
don't want her going, hey, this bag of macaroni looks like a good nest for my family. So I kind of shimmied my foot towards the mouse, who just stopped and then turned around and walked out. Not even scurry, no scurry. I thought, well, that was weird. So instead of just having the door open, I have a baby gate for the dog. So I used to use for the dog when it was a puppy. So here's a baby gate with big holes in it, like the mouse could get through if he wanted to.
Right.
But it made me feel like, okay, there's a mock-up barrier that, Okay, so that was fine.
The mouse knows not to cross the barrier.
Mouse knows. He knows what that barrier is.
You're not welcome here anymore, mouse.
That's right, mouse. So today, I go out because I was washing some clothes, putting clothes in the dryer. Here's the mouse. But mouse is now just stops and looks at me when I walk out because he's already in the garage. Daytime. Looks. Walks. He was a little more ginger this time. He wasn't backing down. He doesn't turn around to go outside. He just walks over, squeezes himself into the hole that he made in the corner of that one box that he was working on.
Uh-oh. Got a little home in your taxes.
I know. I think he moved in.
I
can't put up boys in because I have a dog.
Do you have a cat?
Nope, I don't have a cat. And I don't like those snippy, snappy things because number one, who wants to see a broken neck mouse?
Yeah.
Who actually isn't being really demented, but kind of he's got to listen to me, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I
let him take the shade.
Do you have chickens? Do you have chicken? A chicken will take care of that thing.
Yeah.
Chickens love mice.
Is that why chickens are fat? I was going to ask you that because how do foster farms get their chicken breasts so humongous?
Steroids.
Oh.
Like I assume, like in any larger farms,
hormones,
I'm just assuming it's steroids and hormones. But like small farm, like people that just have chickens, like, oh, chickens love going after mice. Like
Oh, okay. That's a good thing.
if a mouse, mice, lizards, uh, chickens are vicious. Birds in general are
They
vicious.
go. Well, um, I had the guy about, I don't know, a couple of years ago. Every quarter, someone comes out for all the bugs and fleas, mainly for the dog, but the spiders, all the stuff that comes out every quarter, they just do a grass thing and around the house. And I said, hey, I think we have ice. He goes up in the attic. He goes, oh yeah, there's mice up there. And then he gives me a whole history. It's all these different types of mice that are looking for water, mice that are looking for bedding, mice that are looking for food. So that's kind of what I feel like. I haven't identified this mouse because it just throws me off because he's so casual and it was the daytime. So I always think when you see, because he told this, the
Is this mouse drunk?
termite guy said, well, if you see a mouse during the day, they're probably dying because they've probably been poisoned. They ate some rat bait or something and they're just on their last legs. I'm thinking, that's not my mouse. I think my
No.
mouse was living in a wood pile at the neighbor's next door because usually the mice come when someone's doing construction, right? They're tearing up something. And right now, especially with people tilling the backyard saying, I want to do the garden, all these Mises are coming running around going, let's go see Rita if she's got her garage still going there.
And then that guy's like, hey, I found a box. You can
I
walk
found a
around
bot
in the
right.
daytime.
And she doesn't shoo us away. She just thinks, she just thinks that we're dumb enough to say, to turn around. I don't know. I don't want to kick a mouse. I don't want to brush a mouse away. I certainly,
Yeah, get him to
and
sign a lease.
I don't think mice have carry money. I don't think they have wallets.
Yeah. No, they don't.
So is that weird that I'm not afraid of a mouse?
No, I don't think you should be afraid of a mouse.
I know a lot of people
Not,
are
I
though.
mean, do they
I
have a
don't. I'm not
do
a
they
fan
have a
of rats.
gun or something? Do they
No.
have a gun? Are they?
Yeah. I'm not a fan of rats. I've held rats.
Yeah.
I've held people's pets rats. I would not want, but I also live in a town that has sewer rats.
Oh yeah, those are gross.
Those are gross because, and
Raccoons
what,
are actually
yeah,
dangerous.
raccoons are very dangerous and they'll kill a
Like,
pet. They'll come in through a
oh
dog
yeah.
door, a pet door, and the cat's like,
Oh,
don't eat my food.
they'll jack up a dog.
Yeah,
They'll mess up a big dog too.
yeah. No, they won't care about messing up a human either. Yeah, raccoons are scaries. They're but
Those those old trash
rat.
pandas.
Yeah,
Sewer
we got
rats.
yeah sewer rats. I think I was 16. We're all driving out in the middle of nowhere because out farm country, and my friend Scott, who was driving, said, "Oh my God, there's a big dog in the middle of the road because you can see the shadow." And to this day, I'll never forget because it's like talk about it, a rat on steroids. Is your brain cannot take seeing a rat that big. Good, it's a rat, and it's really big.
It reminds me of. Did you ever watch Adventures in Babysitting? Was that after?
I mean, I didn't watch it. I mean, I'm familiar with it, but I didn't watch it.
Okay. It was for my age group, like
Yeah.
in the early '80s.
Yeah.
Like those mid '80s, but those
Kids shows.
yeah, and Elizabeth Shue.
Oh, there she goes.
Yeah, and her friend runs away in the movie. Her friend runs away and is at the bus station and gets her glasses stolen from her, and so she picks up this big sewer rat and is petting it. And then the maintenance people are like, "Lady, give us that rat." And she's like, "What rat?" And she's like, "I'm petting a cat." And he's like, "Lady, that's a big sewer rat."
No way, not in a million years.
And so yeah, I've seen some cute pet rats. Like I've known a couple people that have had.
And it's actually it's not the body of the rat; it's that tail.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people who like to have it climb all over their face and their neck, but then see that tail wrap around, and that I don't like that. And like I love scuba diving, but jellyfish, the brown bell jellyfish that are 20, 30 feet long, And when I see them in the water, I always think that could wrap around my neck. It just with my,
Ooh,
you
where
don't
are
think
those
about
at?
it.
Where are those?
Monterey, they're so beautiful. They're
Uh,
beautiful, but they're humongous. I've seen them in the Monterey
I
Bay.
don't want
I've
to
seen
see
them
them.
in.
I want to stay away from those.
Thing is that right? So, and then if you're especially in places where the visibility is low because it's so nutrient rich, because here comes the seals and the whales and all this. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that
But all of a sudden it's like so. You have 5 feet visibility and you're swimming along, doo doo doo, and all of a sudden you come upon him. And yeah, my dive buddy, he goes, boy, the first time we came upon him, he said, I've never seen you swim backwards so fast. Because I was like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because you can swim around them, but when your field of vision, when you look this way and they go as far as you can see this way, and you look to the left and they're as far as you can see, they seem to go on forever. And then again,
Yeah, no thank you.
you don't want to
The
swim through them. And then if you look online and look at a picture of them, the translucent, um, um, it's like I'm not going to say the right word, but it's like a tail, those curly cues, and then there's long brown strings through the whole thing. They're just huge.
ocean is
Yes.
very dangerous.
What? No, it's not.
I feel like everything in the ocean wants to eat you.
No, nothing wants to eat you. I mean, even the sharks. Now, I will tell you, sharks there are great white sharks in the Monterey Bay, but this is not a good time to go out there because of the baby seals. So through June through the first couple weeks in July, got this big fat mama seals swimming around with their babies, and that's what the sharks want. So, but if you're out there swimming next to them, they want to eat you because they don't like neoprene anyway. But certain things, you hear shark attacks, certain things now, they don't have leopard sharks, and that's where they don't care. They're going to attack anything and everything. But like the great whites, and usually they stay away from people unless they're really lazy or you're simulating. That happens in LA. Not that often, but people who go out on those early morning dark swims and they're simulating like a seal or something on top of the water, kicking, and the shark's like, I can't tell the difference. I can't tell the difference. So they go and bite them, and they're like, oh, this is what I wanted. But depending on where they bit them, right, they could just kill them or rip off their arm. And
I encountered I did all of my open water diving on the East Coast, like in the Florida Keys and the Bahamas, and there are lots of barracuda out there.
Yes, barracuda. Yeah.
They
child's play.
Say child's play.
Yeah, go to Cocos Island, go to Shark Island, go night diving in the shark cave. I've done it. So cool.
In a cave or in a cage?
In a cave. What happens is we go down at twilight, and so you're acclimating that it's getting darker and darker and darker. Then the guides take us into a cave, and there's all these fish flying around in the dark at the bottom of the ocean, at the bottom of the cave. And then you see one shark come, 10 sharks come. And by the time, because the fish keep popping up and they're trying to eat, like doing this feeding frenzy. But what happens is you're like, I was so exhilarated by it, and I was trying to take a picture of it. And my balance was perfect. I was just staying in one place. And then I have to look up and like people who are going, this is cool. But they were going higher and higher to the tip of the cave. Because you don't realize that all of a sudden you're looking at hundreds and hundreds of sharks. Like you can't see the ground anymore. Wow. Because the word's out, we got a feeding frenzy in here. And they're black tip sharks or white tip sharks, which they could care less. Then you go on other dives. And so, but this was also the place where all the hammerheads were. And then the big huge granddaddies of them all, which the one I don't know, I put the picture up before I got one good picture, but there's this one great place really hard to get to, but they're the feeding stations. And so there's this one of those huge hard currents that come through, and they tuck divers deep behind it, these feeding stations, and you just see hundreds and thousands of dolphins and hammerheads and bullhead sharks and silver tips and all, just everything you can imagine come through. And then they'll be like, oh, I'm going to get off right here to go to this feeding stations. And there's all these fish come out and they're cleaning all the bacteria off them and everything. And that's what we try to get the best shots. But that's pretty amazing. And they could care less. I have pictures of, they're not fabulous, but like right where the hammerhead's coming within inches from my camera, right over my face. Cause you just shoot when they're that's they don't care. So, and yeah, but so I don't think the sharks are dangerous. I think things like and it depends on the place. Australia,
well, I mean, jellyfish, they're, I mean, that could.
I don't think, well, jellyfish aren't dangerous. Well, especially if you've got
stingrays
covered from head to toe. Stingrays don't really care either. It depends.
Well, no, if you go down, well, if you go down to the bottom wrong, like, then
be careful.
That's more what I was getting at. Is that
yeah. But they're not.
You gotta be
out. Yeah.
You gotta be careful. A lot of it is, but it's also, I guess, if you think about it, it's also similar to the woods as well, because there are a lot of things that probably want to eat you out in the woods too.
Or it's just natural for them, right?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Hey, I'm a predator and I have no idea what you are, but you might taste good. Mm-hmm. Now in the ocean, it's a little bit different because man has kind of messed and manhandled a lot of stuff up. And so when there's some amazing places in the world where you can dive and you can still see a lot of life. But there's some places that were over tourism-ished, and and so they don't have as much. I mean, but the places, the out of the way places, Fiji, phenomenal, and of course Bahamas is beautiful, but that's different diving. Fiji didn't have very many dangerous anything, just a lot of coral.
The Bahamas was so clear, like the visibility down there.
Right. But remember what happened? Clear means there's nothing in the water, like nutrient wise. So you're going to see a lot of coral, but you're going to see a lot of small fish, and you're going to see these, probably, if you're lucky, get these parades. But that's what is different on the West Coast diving. People are like, oh, the visibility is terrible. But I will say, if you go out enough, and someone told me this years ago, and I may have said this before, when I said, oh, what's your favorite place in the world? And they'll say, there are days when it's crystal clear in the Monterey Bay or in Catalina down in Southern California, these kelp forests are like you've never seen before. And it's true. It's amazing. So, but yeah.
I'm hoping to go diving again soon.
Yeah. Well,
it's been too long.
How long has it been?
Oh, geez. Years. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. She can ride that horse again.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I won't. Okay, so I talked about the mouse in the garage. I talked about Jenny now she's going to be your best friend. She likes you more than me. And I talked to you about you being mean to me, about the Twilight Zone. We talked about your album. I praised AC/DC and Sammy Hagar.
Yep.
What haven't we talked about, Ryan?
I don't know.
How are we on time?
Oh, we're very good.
Did we hit an hour?
48. Nope. We
got 12 minutes. Okay.
Yes.
Let's go. Or this could be our shortest show ever.
I keep thinking about your I keep thinking about your vinyl collection.
Keep your mind out of my vinyl collection, mister. The way you said that. Hey baby, how's your vinyl collection?
As a music fan, and especially of like the actual art of it, I like many.
You're wondering what I have. Well, yeah, I have to have some mystery. I have to have some mystery, Ryan.
I imagine there's a lot of good rock stuff. I imagine you said you like jazz. So
blues, jazz.
I'm wondering
show tunes.
Show
tunes.
The hip hop guy in me is wondering how many Blue Note records you own with your jazz collection.
You want me to answer it right now?
Oh no, you don't have to. I'm just saying these are.
So 15 minutes ago we were talking about vinyl, and I've been talking incessantly, and you're really focusing. Your little thought bubble is about my vinyl collection.
Well, when it moved back after the from the
sharks.
mice and sharks and stuff, and then it was in my head naturally goes to music.
Right.
Like when there's an open space, I'm like, oh, fill it like some sort of topic with music. Like today, I was actually trying to do some recording before, and it just wasn't working out. I didn't like. I mean, none of it was bad. I just didn't like how it sounded, and so.
See, the thing is that
you're took a nap.
Super critical of your work. This is, in my opinion, like almost for like perfectionist.
Yes.
So how can you ever be satisfied? Will you ever be satisfied, or will it always be like, I'll put this out there, but I'm only satisfied 90%?
No, the perfectionist in me, it is. I know when to say when. Okay. Where I know when to say when.
You're not going cuckoo with it.
No. But I do also know the potential that I have.
Right.
And so I'm harder on myself, like with those things, because I know the potential.
Got it.
That is there, where it's like, come on, I know you can do it better than this.
Got it.
Like you can do, because I know myself. Like if I was working with someone else, I might not, push it as hard. Like, but with me, like I know, if I'm not getting it, like I'm gonna keep at it. And so,
right. So now that we've got 10 minutes left, and we are on show number 8.
Yes.
Why don't we write a theme song for the show?
Okay.
I mean, I know you have a song. I mean, you use some of your own music, but
yeah, no, we can do that. We can. Do you play any instruments? No.
Just sing.
Okay. If you played instruments.
I mean, I played the piano, but not. I mean, it's I took lessons. I have a piano, but not worth.
That might be kind of fun. Have you come up with a melody? And then
I don't want to come up with a melody. Oh wait, I could come up with a melody, and you do
like
the
for the piano, and then I'll fill in
all
and then I'll fill in the rest with drums and put in some guitar maybe and other.
Why can't we just write an app? I mean, a rap.
Writing
like a freestyle.
I don't know if
it would work.
Yeah, I don't know if this says rap. It doesn't necessarily
think so? Well,
not.
It could be the Rita Rap Ryan.
There would be
the Rita and Ryan Rap podcast.
I do sing also, actually.
I know you do.
So
can't we write kind of a funny theme song?
So you want okay, so you want lyrics and like
you don't have to.
No, we can. I'm just I'm filling you out. I'm filling you out so I can know where to go.
Okay.
Like those are feeler questions.
My first suggestion would be, should it be a theme song kind of reminiscent of the 80s sitcoms?
That's why I was kind of asking. Wait, I was like, okay, so you say lyric, okay, and
or something like, the famous one, Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
The 3-hour tour. That was catchy.
Yes, that could be
parody.
that could definitely work. We can we can work with that.
See, you're such a good producer. You just will go like, yeah, we can work with that. Sure.
We can I have imagination and creativity as my superpower. And
or we could turn it in. What about a Disney princess theme?
Maybe.
I'm not feeling that. I was just that was that would be not a good spit.
I'd feel like that would be longer, like than a
3-hour tour.
Yeah, than a 3-hour tour. There might be a way to work work something like that in at some point.
See, because the reason why I keep going back to the Gilligan's Island theme is because it told a whole story.
Yeah.
And it was funny. It's funny, and everybody knows it. Or it could be off of a lyric from a famous commercial. Have it your way. 2 all beef patties. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. We could have it instead of a theme song. We could have a jingle.
Yes.
And because we're
a thing.
We do a million different things. We probably go, yeah, a song is too long. We should do a jingle.
A jingle theme song. The the Full House.
Full House.
That one was. I don't remember. I can't remember any of the lyrics off the top of my head. But
speaking of Barry Manilow, do you know he wrote some of the most famous jingles before he became famous?
I did not know that. That is
he
cool.
wrote I Am Stuck on Band-Aid because Band-Aid stuck on me.
Oh, really?
He also wrote the State Farm one. That's like 50 years, Like a Good Neighbor, State Farm is there. Yeah.
Wow.
He has a live album, which I have.
Of just jingles?
No, but there's a section of it, and he said...
It'd be funny if he had Barry Manilow's jingle album.
And actually, hear a funny story. My friends who I always defend Barry Manilow, and they laugh at me and they said I'm a loser, teasing. Say, I bet you know more Barry Manilow songs than you're willing to admit, and probably more than these cool classic rock and roller songs. And so I started naming all these songs off. But I did have, and they're like, oh, so there's a group of friends. We've been friends since we were 12, 13, 14. And we all, we have, instead of doing high school reunions, because there's useless to us in our experience in high school. So.
I never went to any of mine.
Yeah, so it's like, because we all said the fact that here we are this many years later, friends. We don't need a high school reunion. See people I haven't seen. If you know me, you're gonna know how to get a hold of me. We're still friends 25, 30 years later. So we would do these 20 years, we go see Santana. 25 years, we go see who's ever in concert. Maybe it's Yes. Maybe it's
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, well, we didn't see that. But so and they always bust my chops because they're the guys that go,
because you're always suggesting Manilow, and they're like, no.
Because it's a running joke. So I just was going back and forth. Well, so I said, listen, I have sat through every freaking concert. Always, joined it, not only for the love and everything, but some of the groups, because we all get to pick a group. You guys all got to pick a group. That was the whole thing. And then they realized after so many years, it's like, that was my ultimate plan. So I said,
was to get them to go to a Barry Manilow concert. Barry Manilow.
Okay, so they were so not willing to do it. They decided to cancel all future, milestones, which that lasted 3 seconds because I just said, okay, they would not. That's how anti-Manilow they were.
Wow, that's so fun. That's so fun.
But I went, and you know who I went with?
Who?
Myself.
Oh.
All by myself.
That's cool.
And I knew every single song. And it was a great concert. It was...
Sing along.
Yes.
Did you sing along with everything?
Song. Yes, everybody else did too. But the thing is that because he's been around so long, he does all of his... So, but here's the thing with the albums, right? So when albums are expensive in my day, and if you liked one song, you bought the whole album. You didn't go and buy the 45. So it's kind of not just to have to go, oh, I like this song or I like that song. I really like, I was always called the other side of the 45 songs, sometimes more than the popular song. So I always listened to the albums. So it's not like I was crazy in love with his music, but there were different type of music. And he does have, if people really listen to it, it's not just the schmaltzy songs on the top 20, top 40. But he plays a lot of jazz. He wrote a Broadway musical, so it's all just very different.
Well, that's one of the
But
things about newer music that I kind of have a harder time with is
mhm,
because I judge like something on the whole album. Like if I
yep,
only like just one song, then I don't really mess with the artist or whatever because I like to put an album on at the beginning and then listen to it all the way through to the end. And like
right,
cuz a lot of times there's a process in the song order, you know, I know for me when I'm arranging stuff, like I go through several different variations to find the variation of whatever kind of mood I'm setting for the album as a whole. And so
right,
I
right,
feel
right.
like a lot of
Totally get
other
it.
artists do that to where it's like, hey, this is how I want you to listen to these songs
Hmm.
in this
If yeah,
order.
as long as
And,
it's not so overproduced, somebody else is doing it. But
yeah.
I would do the same thing
And
and look for
a
those
lot of newer
gems.
artists,
Yeah,
there's only one or two songs I like. I mean, mainstream artists.
right.
There's still a lot of really good underground current artists. Like the MF Doom Czarface
Right.
album I just bought
Mhm.
is great front
Right.
to back. Like
I
you,
I think it goes back to what we talked about, I think last week when we talked about music. It's the real music and the real musician who's writing their music,
mhm.
or they're collaborating with people who are writing their own music. And it's not kind of a just generic, like there's 5 people in the industry that's writing the music for everybody. Because
Mhm.
that happens a lot,
Yep.
as featured on such and such, and it's like, wait, it's the same producer, and then you start seeing the pattern. All these young pop stars sound the same
Mhm.
because they're just manufacturing music. But I mean, and I believe because music is always meant to evolve and move on. I mean, we got through disco, kind of got through the 70s music.
I don't mind
Um,
disco actually.
well, Donna Summer, I love Donna Summer.
Yeah.
Um,
I kind of actually
no.
like Bee Gees a little bit.
Yeah, I've got
There's
Bee Gees.
some
I mean,
good
I had their
there's
greatest hits. I mean, Broadway is a great song.
like I ain't mad
Broadway,
at
and then their
funk
old
either.
stuff.
I like
Mhm.
some
My
funk
very,
like
yeah, my
70s stuff is the best stuff to sample from. Like if you want to make some cool boom bap hip hop beats,
right.
man, some of the best stuff is those a lot of the 70s albums, some funk, jazz, rock, like cuz a lot of them have just amazing snare and drum sounds that you can rip off and then
I
yeah.
the there's a really great album. I think it's the Bee Gees like whole catalog, and there's a
Mhm.
definite demarcation before they started using falsettos when they went kind of into the 70s, but kind of their
Yeah.
their evolution, because they were always singing since they're teenagers, but the evolution and then going in and trying all these different instruments. That's the Bee Gees. I mean, I really like Broadway. Staying Alive, it's just one of those songs that
Yeah,
it's
it's
going to go
super
through the
catchy.
millennia yet, and it's going to be in a space capsule someday.
Yeah.
But so we're going to end the show with Barry Manilow, the Bee Gees, and possibly a new Rita and Ryan podcast jingle.
Possibly. Yes.
Thank you, everybody. And I didn't say Chef Jenny Fox, of the Indianapolis, Indiana area, who's a personal chef and meal prep extraordinaire. She's one of our biggest fans.
What's her website?
Well, I know she's at jennyfox.com. Fingers crossed, it's .com, not .org. But her Twitter handles at Chef Jenny Fox. It's always Chef Jenny Fox.
So
So everything's under
put that in
Facebook, Twitter.
your
She's on
things.
Instagram. It's just think Chef Jenny Fox, Indianapolis. Beautiful, beautiful person. And even though I'm leaning towards Ryan, it's okay. She and I can still be co-best friends with Ryan. But have an amazing week. The summer's almost here. It's already warm here in the country of
It's
California.
Yep, it is getting it's
It's
getting very
getting man
sunny.
bun. It's man bun weather.
It is. It is man bun weather. So
Have a
yeah.
great week to everyone who's watched. Thank you for last week. We had one of our highest viewerships, and it wasn't just us looking at it over and over.
I know. I've been
Really
excited, like,
excited.
cause I've been kind of busy with other stuff, so I haven't checked it. And that could be why more people are watching is because I stopped,
Checking it.
checking it.
Well, because we
And
know that.
so
But I will
and
give an update on the mouse situation for next week.
sweet.
We'll regroup about our jingle. And then thank you, Ryan, from the bottom of my heart for not being mean to me tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Because that's a wound that's going to take a long time to heal.
Thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget to check us out on all of our different things. You can find Rita at smallbusinesspodcast.org. Go there. And you can also find her at Rita_SM_bizcoach on Twitter. You can find me at trashcanconductor.com. You can find all of my other social media links on that website, as well as fun stuff I make. And I'm on Twitter at NIS1ST. And thank you guys for joining us on this adventure that we are going on.
Thanks, you guys. Have a great week.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.